So we're gonna take a left turn real quick. We had the death of Irv Gotti, who's a American music producer, record producer, founder of Murder Inc. Records, A&R at Def Jam, heavily connected to the New York rap scene, career of Ashanti and R&B, and he passed away at age 54 after multiple strokes. Um, so Irv is a character, man. I kind of consider him understatement actually on character.
Yeah,
He's like the not as like flagrant version of Dame Dash to me. Like Dame Dash is just completely abrasive and like, whatever. And Irv could be like that too, but there's a lot more joy inside of Irv Gotti, I would say.
I would say I feel like they're the same. They're very similar. Now I'm gonna say exactly the same person. They're very similar. The charm that Irv Gotti has, that like he actually had a musical talent.
That is true.
And Dame Dash talent was I talk shit off air or behind the scenes that you never hear about, and I get to talk more shit.
Like,
And then
and I have the best rapper
when
in
I
the
go
world to clean up my mistakes.
and, and then when things go left or whatever else, he wonders why he has no sympathy for him. Oh, it's because you were an asshole for decades.
Yeah. But Irv was a producer, produced a lot of great, all time rap music. A lot of stuff I grew up loving and getting sick of at different times because it just Murder Inc.
That's
ran the
too popular.
radio. It ran the radio, bro. Like it was like couldn't escape him. The INC and a lot of after 50 Cent and his unit came and bulldoze all that stuff. Like I said, I think I talked a couple weeks ago about us being unfair to Ja Rule and stuff like that. Like, I mean, it's only correct. Like, if you go back and start listening to this stuff, like, if you just listen to a lot of production that was on some of those Ja Rule albums and the risks they were kind of taking for the time as compared to everyone else, it's like he was doing something here a little bit. Like, and he'll never get the credit for it or whatever. But I think Irv, like the way he impacted music with DMX and basically quitting his job, saying, I will quit Def Jam right now if y'all don't sign him. And then like X has undying loyalty to him for that. And they finally get him in the door and he's basically, basically producing everything for As Dark and Hell is Hot. And then there was X. All that shit is Irv, like as far as like the A&R vision on that, and basically bringing it out of X or whatever. Then of course Ja Rule, and then Jay-Z. Like he's connected to those three guys that rose up in the post Biggie era of New York rap. Produced "Can I Live" for Jay-Z, which is there are a lot of best Jay-Z song ever lists. "Can I Live" is number one on a lot of them. Um, Dead Presidents, whatever you want
Yeah,
out of those.
yeah.
But
Dead Presidents is. I feel like every time I look at people's lists, like Dead Presidents is like, if it's not one, it's always in the top five.
yeah, and just an incredible interview. Like Dame can talk all day, colorful, charismatic, and it was it was very sad to hear that he passed on. And I went through and listened to a lot of the stuff. Yeah, Mike Geronimo, like I love East Coast rap. I love the production of it, in the '90s and stuff like that. And a lot of that stuff, like it basically it got ushered out of like the ushered to the wayside like after 2003. So like this is a long time ago that he was connecting the dots like that. But he did do R&B. He had Lloyd, he had Ashanti, and kept going kind of with that. But like his sound and like the memories of it is getting further and further away, and like why it was dope, and like the stories behind the music, and that we're losing access to. And thankfully he did interviews with Drink Champs and Nori and could tell. I know some of the Ashanti stuff with him is a little like,
A
it ain't
little.
look, it ain't for me to necessarily look. I wasn't there. I don't necessarily care to hear about their love life and all that. I heard the music, and at the end of the day, Irv, she chose. So it's like, you know, they had Nas for like 2 weeks, on Murder Inc. at one point.
We talked about that the other day.
Yeah. And then like that shit was like, man, it really felt like Murder Inc. was unstoppable at their peak. And you just you had to deal with it one way or the other.
Yeah, like I was one of those people where you you look around, like just the credits of the songs and the albums and everything, and like that doesn't do justice to how involved he was in a lot of this stuff. Like it's one of those things where it's about like what the ground game was in New York in the 80s and 90s for the music industry, for the rap music industry, whereas like, you know, how the old school music business, as we would call it now, and like how it was for rap music in like just Jersey in the boroughs and the radio stations, and how old timey that was, and like it ain't too dissimilar to like if you were to talk about like the like the radio stations in like in country places or whatever else getting records broken. Then it's like it's so boys club, it's so insular, it's so incestuous, it's so you got to know somebody and all that kind of stuff. And like he was around all of that
Irv knew everybody.
in a way where it's like back then, like the whole entire rap music industry was New York, and then like a couple of places here and there in LA. You know what I'm saying? And like he was a big part of that. Like there is no reason why we should know who Steve Stout is. You know what I mean?
Right.
But we do. Like we don't. Obviously, people get obviously execs and rap get shot out in ways and other genres of music just don't. But like there was something about that era where it's like all these people, like the game, the industry, the artistry, like made them larger than life. Even if these people were like people that were like actually real characters like Irv and like Dame, or if they were people that were like reserved, right? Like there's no reason why any of us know who Kareem Biggs Burke is. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's one of those like, hell, why the fuck do we know who Young Guru is? You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, he was a yes, he was a great engineer, and did all that, but like, there are certain people where it's like, why do we know these people? Because like, all these people were in this compressed area that basically that monopolized and was the industry, right? It's almost like going back to the territory days, and like that was New York City, but like there was no St. Louis, there was no San Francisco, there was no Tampa. Like it was only there or seemingly like nothing outside of it mattered. Like that's why you have Outkast getting booted at the Source Awards. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. It's like you remember the conversation that I forgot who it was, but General was talking about like the Beyonce country stuff, and then we all found interesting because it's like, yes, General was like, yes, she should have, based off of how good her record is, she should have been nominated for all this stuff. She was not, because it's good old boys club, it's a community, and like people like Shabuzi are in because Shabuzi's part of that community. They know him. In Nashville, they know Beyonce based off the fact where she's the biggest star in the world, but they don't know her as far as like,
well, you're not records. The biggest star to us.
Right.
Yeah.
So you get the part where it's obviously there is racism involved in that. Absolutely. But there's also the part where it's like, we don't know y'all. Like, your record's great, but like we're supposed to, just bend over for you because you're you. I think the answer should be yes, but whatever. I think it'd be
they wanted to come kick it amongst the folks. It sounds like.
I mean, but the thing is, like, she's done it before. Like, she did the Country Music Awards before, so it's like, yeah. Well, she has like tried to curry favor you before in the past. Dude, then do this record. You had like you never had before, but like it's a part of that where it's like outsiders, out of towners, y'all ain't finna come in here and come in our trap and run the shit you want the way you see fit. It's our shit. We ain't giving it to you, right? Um, and like that's how it was for rap for so long. So like, when the games kind of changed with the streaming stuff and the internet and like rap has gone so to an it had a very homogenous sound of like the minimalistic trap stuff, and it's like for me it's like I miss the regionalism because it's like you had these pockets and they were doing their own thing and they had their own distinct sound and they ran their city or their area or whatever else and people loved them and like if the music was dope to me it didn't matter because like I'm from an area where like our music I like our music but like there ain't none that appeals to the masses so it's like when I hear bounce from Manny Fresh I like it when I hear tear the club up from 3-6 I like it so I've I've always appreciated that thing, but like I've noticed that other people haven't. So for me, it's like seeing how like the New York thing was like, nah, man, if it ain't New York, we getting it the fuck out of here. It was always like it always irritated me when I was younger. I was like, do y'all not recognize how dope this other stuff is? And then they would do the country motherfucker stuff, and I'd be like, all right, man. And so like for me, like these last 20 years, I've been like, I wouldn't say that I enjoy New York's downfalls. I love New York rap, but it's like it's you read what you saw, motherfuckers. Y'all try to box all this shit. Well, you've got this one important part once the internet gets involved. Like they get to decide what they want, and like when it's black music, like y'all was black music, y'all thought y'all was black music, but you gotta remember there are way more black people in the South than it is in the 8 million people, not even black people, just the 8 million people in New York City. So that's kind of what happened. They got overruled, and now they've had to talk about all this shit about the rules of their own games. Like, we understand you created this thing, but you were completely hoggish with this. So now your ass in the mud now.
I think technology actually plays a bigger role than you're stating too, because it's not just like the people choosing what they want to listen to. It's literally the tools that the music is being made with, like or whatever. So it's like
it's far more democratic. Like how people complain about like you get any old idiot that say crazy thing on a podcast, and black men need to stop. They need to stop having podcast equipment.
Yeah.
Luckily all these years we've never said nothing crazy enough that people say that about us. But there's something to that. It's like, man, just because you can, I mean you should. And that's another thing when it comes to music. Like, you might get a hit. You might also make a lot of bad music on the way to getting a hit.
Yeah,
and that's one of those things where it's like all this stuff is accessible, and then you get stuff where like, yo, bro, 20 years ago, they would have threw your shit out the window. They would have put that CD in their shit, heard it for like 15 good seconds, and they would have thrown that shit on the fucking turnpike.
Like, niggas would have or they would have put your tape in, like.
Oh, tape would have been even worse. Oh my god, bro. Can you imagine? Like, let's take it back to like 98, right?
Yeah.
And they playing that Bruno Mars and Sexy Red. Oh, buddy. Look, I understand.
Somebody might have hung Bruno Mars.
I understand that they respected the P shit because of how many units he sold, because of just pure capitalism, whatever else. I don't think they would have cared that Bruno Mars is the most streamed artist in the world. They would have been like, get this shit the fuck out of here.
Somebody might have hung that man over the bridge like Suge Knight, like somebody like sign over your masters, like
yeah,
for that kind of shit. But like but to bring it back to Irv, it's like he's just one more key to that past that doesn't exist anymore. And I would recommend just pull up some Murder Inc. music. I think that's the easiest way to kind of get whatever. Who could ever forget him yelling out "Ja" on on the Thug Love song with Bobby Brown? Yeah, man, he's watch an interview. He's done a couple of them with Drink Champs solo and one with Ja Rule. And definitely check out the Murder Inc. story, like BET releases. It's on streaming and all that. So I would definitely check that stuff out if you're looking to get another. If you like kind of this conversation and want to know more about.
I saw clips of it, and then like when I saw that Ashanti wasn't involved, then I was like, oh, okay, maybe I should not care what they have to say.
Well,
because like that's
I think the reason why she didn't do it was more like her personal relationship with Irv, like as far as like their love relationship. As far as like her being like, and then just mixing it is like, nah, I don't need to be involved with this or whatever. It's almost like Chris Webber not being in the Fab Five documentary.
no, I get you. I'm not saying like I'm not talking about like the malfeasance. I'm just still like imagine you as Ashanti. You drop only you, and your career is completely like uttered or completely altered and thrown in the mud because of a rap beef with a nigga that you ain't got nothing to do with. Her career got ruined because she signed to a label. Not is the rapper in the beef. Signed to the same label that the rapper is involved in. That was nuts. That was
I
nuts
think
what happened to her.
Ashanti still like I think she went on to about 2007, which is much longer than Ja Rule did.
No. She did, but it was to vastly diminishing returns. That's my point. Like,
Gotcha.
only you was like the last big hit she had, and then like obviously like there was the one song with at the time it was R. Kelly and Ja Rule and her or whatever else. But like it was like every single time when something come out was diminishing returns, and then like she would come out. She came out something like the late 2000s or maybe it was like the early 2010s. Can't remember. Like it got radio play, but it was like it's just done. It was just done. It was
They
like
were
wow,
very
that don't make
overexposed
no
though.
sense how that worked.
They
That's
were
true.
they were very overexposed, like 2000, 2001, 2002,
But
and by the time
but you
2003
got to
comes
remember.
around, it's like,
But you got to remember what that game was like. It'd be one thing if like her stuff wasn't moving right.
mm-hmm.
She wasn't on no features after a certain time, and that was like there was always room for a singing ass person to be on someone's single.
Mm-hmm.
There always was. We had a Vaughn out here on people's singles.
I remember.
Not that Avant's not talented. Be my point. Like
Remember when
they was
Plies got her
they were
on?
anybody. Say again.
Remember when Plies had her on one? It was like 2010 or something like that. It was like you won it.
What out?
It was like one it needed. It was like his
That's right.
third album or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was almost like
So that
Ashanti.
was that on a definition of real. The one after
The
definition.
one after, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
The
And that's
realest.
the one that also had like Busted Baby on with Neo, right?
That was on definition of real.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
So is that so? Okay, so I'm guessing that's the album that had Who
Then
Hotter Than Me then.
definition of real is Who Hotter Than Me. It's that third album, that the realest or whatever. That
The
it's
realest
on.
one I'm thinking of. Yep, that's what I'm thinking of. Yep. Yeah. I'm mixing up these plots. I haven't listened to them in a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Much as Josh Smith's chagrin. Did we ever tell them about the New Orleans trip?
I'm sure we've mentioned it before, but
Me, you, Jeremy, and Rich driving from Tampa to New Orleans for WrestleMania in 2018, WrestleMania 34, and I don't know what got into. It was you. It wasn't me. I was driving.
yeah.
You just got the ox. You said I'm just gonna play like 90 minutes straight of Plies, and I'm me and you loving it. Jeremy dying and all the slick ridiculous things Plies saying, and Josh is back there fucking just in misery. Sorry, bro. You gotta be in misery. It is what it is. I'm fucking awesome.
I love it.
Uh,
So we should talk